Local AI, very much so. Private, there's a, as the cool kids say, TEE, right? Trusted execution environments. So ways of doing encrypted inference. But in general, there's one end game for us, right? And it's, are we going to be using the corporate AI products? Is that the end game? Probably not, especially for the important things that we need to do, the personal things that we need to do. And so as a dev, I've had the privilege of being at the cutting edge of AI for coding work, because all my code is open source, right?
Through pleb devs.
It's all going to get trained on anyway. So why not use the best tools? And that's not always a permission that we get. But then the end game, right? That's nice right now. I can use the smart AI models and use their subsidy for my coding work. But what about my personal life? What about my personal work? What about my sensitive data? And so that's, I've seen for a while now that the only end game for us is private local AI that is loyal to us, not loyal to Sam Altman or Dario. So, that's the overall vision. And it's been, cool to see what I feel like Chris is actually like that. Like I'm like maybe in the future, like 3 months in the future, but Chris is like 3 years in the future. So
yeah, he definitely like, I feel like with him, like he definitely just like, him and Tony, I feel like especially like see very first in the future, but they have Tony less so. I feel like Christopher has trouble explaining it, and it's just like he's almost like Elon Musk.
Yeah, he just talks louder.
Just like vomit it out. I love Christopher. Just like vomit it out or talks louder. But and then you like even right now, it's like, dude, like autopilot. What about like we're literally using autopilot in here. Ben's using it. Ovi's using it. I'm using it. Christopher's literally.
Is that your agent?
That's the agent that he made. And I'm over here telling him, like,
the code's out there, right? Like,
no, I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, when are we going to release this? Because I know a good product when I see it. And he's like, no, Car, we got it. Like right now, you heard him on the thing. He's like, no, we got to take our time. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to. And I'm like, dude, you got the freaking crown jewel here. What are we? And he's like, no, you got to. So all I'm saying, he's like, yeah, you're right. And I really didn't know that. I didn't know that until I started working with him day to day, and I started seeing it, and I was just like, what? So anyway, let's get back to you. Talk to us about local AI. I see BTC Sessions is on the train now with local AI.
Very bullish.
He's sponsored by the HRF. You're doing local AI, sponsored by the HRF. How big of an impact is local AI going to make for not only Bitcoiners, but for the rest of the world?
Yeah, so this is my, this is something that's so important to me right now. And it's something that I'm maybe just realizing over the last 3 to 6 months. I've been interested in local and private AI. There's a lot of obvious reasons to be interested in that in the future and want that to happen in the future. But going back to zero, thinking about the cypherpunks in the 90s, the cypherpunks, they saw the existence of really good cryptography, applied cryptography, in the open internet. And they said, because there's applied cryptography and the open internet, the state is going to die. And you're like, wait, hold on. You made a big leap there. What do you mean? Right. So, they were so early in seeing that these fundamental innovations, these fundamental insights are going to lead to very powerful, impactful second and third order consequences. And I feel like I just had one of those insights. Maybe I have AI psychosis. Check me here.
What is AI psychosis again?
Like I'm talking to my AI too much. I'm getting in my own head, right? I'm in my own echo chamber. So maybe I'm at that point, and keep me honest. But what I'm seeing is a similar insight, which is that, the two things for the cypherpunks were the internet, free information on computers, networked, and then cryptography. And what I'm seeing is, on one insight, what the big AI labs have figured out OpenAI and Anthropic, they figured out that you can take intelligence, maybe not wisdom, but intelligence, and you can boil it down into a file full of numbers, right? And then at inference time, you can tease out that intelligence from the numbers, right? So you can compress intelligence down into numbers. And then when you want to talk to that intelligence, it decompresses out into really smart answers. So that's one insight. Okay, we all know that. But the second insight is that you can make it really, 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 really small. You can compress it down really small to where it can run on all of our computers. And so, as insane as it sounds, I think those two ideas will kill the state.
Really?
Now I say, literally kill the state. It will kill the representative leviathan of the current paradigm that we live in. That's what I mean. And that's because that, so for example, GPT-4, I think that came out like a year ago, right?
Did it really? Has it only been a year?
Maybe a year and a half, right? Because the original ChatGPT,
2 years, right? Like maybe 2 years or 3 years?
Maybe 2 years at this point.
Yeah,
the original ChatGPT was 3.5.
Yeah.
And then maybe they had 3.6, I don't exactly remember, or Pro or whatever. But then 4 came along, and that was kind of like, okay, here's the new version. And we all were blown away by GPT-4.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? And you consider that they spent, tens of billions of dollars to train that.
Right.
And then they spent, probably tens of millions of dollars to run it as we were all using it circa, whatever it was, late 2023, I think. So, but now consider that you can run a model that is as smart as that model on your phone. Right? I'm not even talking about the laptop at this point. I'm talking about
like the
4 billion parameter model on your phone.
Okay.
Can hit the same. Now, these are benchmarks, right? These are IQ tests that we put AI models through. So that's where I'm getting my data and my claim is coming from. So, how much do we trust IQ tests? Maybe a little bit, but not fully. So take that with a grain of salt. But that has happened. So you have something like 1,000 and 10,000. I don't know. I haven't done the math, but going from a data center to your iPhone. And that's been 2.5 years, 2 years, a year and a half, whatever it is for GPT-4. And that's just an analogy. So this is moving fast. So, with what was it? Sisyphus stole fire from the gods. But here, when it comes from the AI labs, they accidentally leaked it because they spent tens of billions of dollars building up all this compute and telling their investors, we're going to go hyperscale. And then we're going to deliver all the intelligence to the world and they're going to pay us for it. And then, oops, we hyperscaled and trained the models and then accidentally leaked the fire that you can make them extremely small and extremely efficient. So that's the bullish narrative. Take that with a grain of salt, but we're far along on that journey. Now, your local model that you can run on your MacBook isn't necessarily going to replace your GPT 5.5 model that's around today, but you can get about 90% of the way there. How valuable is that? Getting 90% of the way there of the frontier model on your local machine, extremely good privacy, maybe perfect privacy if you have it set up well. And then obviously it's free, or it's the cost of the electricity for you to plug into your wall. So that's very powerful. And back to my analogy of we turn intelligence into numbers, and now we figure out we can make it really small. That process, those two things are not driven by, some proprietary product or some workflow. Obviously, they train the models and they spin compute to do that. But these are ideas that are baked into reality itself. It's baked into numbers and math itself. You can make intelligence into numbers and you can compress them very small. That is an idea. Even if we go into 1,000-year dark age of oppression, that idea will reemerge in 1,001 years. That's an idea that at this point it can't die. And so for me, that's the big realization where maybe 2 years ago, I was a little bit cynical and edgy about AI. But now I'm very bullish and hopeful because it's like intelligence was made to be turned into numbers that we can compute. And it was made to be small. And that means it was made for the individual. And so that's the big insights.
Dude, it's incredible because like I do get the sense that it has gotten better, like you said, over the past 2 years. Like and we were talking about the cursor thing,
Yeah.
and like even that, I feel like I was using it heavily today.
Composer 2.5.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Well, it's not great. It's still
I think it's great.
It used to be retarded, but
The
now,
old ones,
the old one. But now I feel like because it's free with your cursor plan, and now I feel like it's actually I was saying it earlier. It reminds me of 5.3. Like, it's to me, it's that good because in 5.3, I was just cruising down the highway, and now since it's been released, I find myself using more Composer 2.5 and less on Codex. Which I do have Codex, but I have it like, cleaning everything up. But now I feel like, okay, now let me stress test this where I can use 2.5 with multiple agents hitting the same project. Like that's what I want to try next. Hopefully I get some time today.
Yeah, I mean, how does Cursor let you like their
But I think it's from the whole Elon
up,
thing. I think it's from the whole Elon thing. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Like, how do you see that kind of playing out? Because if these are getting so much better, Austin, where Cursor, or I can use some really crappy model on my MacBook Pro, like why would I do that? You make that switch yet?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be an early adopter and you have to make the trade-off right now.
Yeah.
But I think what Cursor has figured out is that because they're a big company, obviously. They're huge.
Yeah.
They've grown extremely fast.
I think they're YC too, yeah.
But they're not a frontier AI lab, meaning that they don't have, I'm sure they have a team of AI researchers, maybe a few teams, but compared to OpenAI and Anthropic, where a good, third of the company is just hardcore AI research. That's not Cursor. They're making the harness, they're making the app that you're using to interact with AI. But they have, Composer 2, the last version, it got leaked that they had taken this off-the-shelf open source model. It was really powerful. I think it was either Kimi K2 or Kimi K2.5.
Right.
And then they fine-tuned it or post-trained it on all of the data, all of our conversations that we put in Cursor. And so all that Cursor needs to do, and now they just released Composer 2.5, it scores equivalently to Opus 4.7. The latest Claude model.
You already looked at that?
Once again, according to the benchmarks.
What was that benchmark place you were talking about?
Artificialanalysis.ai is one of the better ones. But they might not have Composer 2.5 because Cursor is so closed that they don't even have an API endpoint that you can hit for their models, right? You can only use their models within their product. But we see at the very least on the intelligence score there, Opus 4.7 is that 4.7? Yeah, is number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
With 5.5. I think that's extra high is number 1. So, you would imagine Composer would maybe be number 3 or number 4 in this scenario.
Somewhere here, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which once again, they're so close that you can only use the model in their product, not over API. So I think that's why our artificial analysis doesn't have benchmarks on them.
Yeah, I feel like 5.5 is definitely king right now as far as from what I can tell. Dude, like sometimes I'm saying gibberish. I'm just like, blah, 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 a thought comes out, blah, and it just starts working. That's crazy. Like the fact that it's like knowing what I'm trying to speak, because I'm not even doing whole sentences. It's insane.
Yeah, or you misspell like half the words.
Yeah,
so it's like,
right?
oh, I think you were trying to say this, so I'm gonna do this.
And then so like I feel like if you're saying Cursor somewhere here, that's why I was saying earlier. It reminds me of 5.3. It's that good. It's good enough to where your daily driver up until you reach you hit some sort of like problem that you can't solve.
Yeah, like a really deep problem. Yeah, and the important thing, right? 4.7 equivalent, maybe right below, but it's 10 times faster and 10 times cheaper, like literally a 10x.
And then so so I saw BTC sessions. He brought up like he got like he got like a new Mac, all that stuff. I think Christopher's going to get us some new Macs here too as well at some point. What's the best local model that you should be running? So
I'll tell you something different than the world will tell you. So the world, I'll tell you first what the world will tell you. The world will tell you in the benchmarks that you can go see, you can easily look up or ask your ChatGPT,
right,
what's the best small local model that I can run on this or this GPU or my 64 gigabyte Mac Mini or whatever you have. You're going to get Quinn 27B.
So not this one, not the 37 Max. You said Quinn.
Yeah, and actually Quinn might not be on this list by default, but you can, if you hover up to that original list of intelligence, you can add a filter and put them on it.
Where'd you say it was? Quinn what?
Like scroll up, not on this one. On the, we'll scroll down a little bit. Scroll down, intelligence. So there's a selector right there.
This one?
No, in the right middle part of the screen. Yeah, that selector. You can put in Quinn or just put in 27B. Just put in 27B. And let's zoom in. Let's see.
Is it this one?
Zoom in. I can't see. I can't read that. Quinn 3.6 27B. Exactly. Yeah. So put that in. Great. And then that sits somewhere in the stack, you know.
I think I lost it.
We lost it. It's okay. That was somewhere like 12th place, right? So 12th smartest model in the world. And you can run it on your, 48 or 64 gig, or maybe even 32 nowadays, gigabyte MacBook. So most people will tell you that that's the smartest model. And that's a Chinese open source model. So most of the Chinese models are open source. A little bit weird, I know, but they have to do that in order to get their models in the US and to get users so that they get feedback, so that they get better. That's a little bit of the incentive there. Yeah, so we see it right there, between DeepSeek V4 and Quinn 3.5, 397B, which is kind of insane because that's literally a 3x larger.
Somewhere over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhere near.
Yeah, there it is.
So it's somewhere near 5.4.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Right. So 5.4 is a 48.9 on their intelligence
really?
scale.
Shut up. Really?
Quinn 3.6, 27B, 45.8. So
you're telling me it's as good as 5.4.
Mm-hmm. Well, these are the test scores, right?
What's the difference between the mini though, and then just like a regular 5.4?
The mini. Oh, you're right. That is mini. Well, it's a smaller, faster model from them, but it's very smart still. I mean,
but the reasoning's not there.
We see another comparison like Claude Sonnet 4.6 Max. That's at 51. That's a little bit over to the left. To the left.
This way?
Yeah.
Got you.
Right. So you see Claude Sonnet for 51 versus our 27B is 45. So what is the percentage drop there? It's basically what I said. Like, what is that? 12 to
text window, or what is this?
This is the intelligence score according to artificial analysis, which aggregates all of the benchmarks across the various models.
Pretty.
So it's like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of a drop, but it's like, right, that's a 27. That's a model that you fit on your MacBook versus a model that was trained and meant to run on an entire data center.
Yeah, but so this is one that you could run on like the top of the line MacBook Pro. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, top of the line and really kind of the midline.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going to say upper mid.
Okay.
Right. So the modern.
You got to have an M5, M4.
Even an M3 or an M2 if you have enough RAM.
Oh, okay.
Because this is what's nice about Mac is that they have unified memory, which means that basically you're not thinking about GPU versus your CPU. You're just thinking about one shared pool of memory for loading the model in. But nonetheless, it's an amazing model. It is actually very intelligent, but these are the test scores. And so the test scores say that Quinn 3.6 27B is one of the smartest, reasonably local models. And it's one that you should go after and definitely try it first. But my own benchmarks, my own tests, right? Because it's important, just like us, just like the smartest rich families help their high schoolers and college kids not cheat, but be perfectly set up for the SAT and all their special tests in a very similar way that AI labs. They do what's called benchmarking, which is they train the model on the benchmarks that the model will be measured on. So sometimes they get artificially better scores than actually what they're capable of.
I'm sure.
All of them try to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're all trying to show off these fancy flashing numbers.
Yeah.
But from my internal tests, right? So 27B, great place to start. That's what the world will tell you. What Austin will tell you.
This is not even your pick?
It's not even my pick.
Oh, I thought this was your pick.
Mine is a few other places to the right. It is
Gemma. To the left.
To the right. To the right.
Where is it
Going
at?
down down the bell curve.
4.4431.
Right there. Gemma 4 31B.
Oh, interesting.
Gemma
What's
4
so good about
is a
this one?
class of models from Google recently in the last 2 to 3 months. And they are small local models that are open source. And they don't do amazingly on the benchmarks. I mean, they're pretty close in comparison, maybe where 27B was a 10 or 12% drop. Maybe this is more like a 20% drop. But from my tests, my own internal tests, my tests contradict what the big benchmarks and tests say. And what my tests show is that Google's open source models that are small, Gemma 4, are the best. They're at the top of my leaderboard. And you can find mine at plebdev-bench.
Do you have your own benchmark stuff?
I do, and I'm like trying to get it a full public release, but it's plebdev-bench.vercel.app. I think is where you can
slash
find
what? .com/
plebdev-bench.vercel.app. .vercel.app.
.vercel.
No, so plebdev.
Okay, just type it. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, you haven't deployed it. Is that it there?
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't deployed it or I forgot the domain. Either way, I have my own internal benchmark. It'll be coming out soon. And from my test, and this is just a vibe check myself, right? Because I don't trust anyone or anything. And my benchmarks show that the American open source models are still number one, despite seemingly the Chinese models killing it. And so, Gemma 4 is one of the families of open source small models from Google. The other one, which is a year old at this point, which is still near the top of my benchmark, is GPT OSS, which has 2 models in that family, 20B and 120B. The 20B, you will absolutely be able to run on almost any MacBook you have.
Which one is it? The OSS high or the
GPT OSS 20B? And yeah,
right
you can
there.
look at high.
Oh, wow.
And, that will be something like, according to the test scores, that will
all
be
the way down there.
Yeah, it's all the way down there, right?
Wow.
But this is a model that was meant for calling tools. And so, well, there's a lot to say about it, but in general, the American models.
Okay.
So that's my alpha that I have for you. Gemma family is going to be the best. GPT OSS not far behind. But hey, Quinn is that's the cute girl on the block. So don't ignore Quinn.
All right. Well, Austin, thank you so much for coming on OpenAgents live after party something. We'll clip this. We're going to share this later. Take a listen to the podcast, YouTube, Substack, and we'll share it on socials, I'm sure. That's a wrap. I'm out of here. I can finally leave. It was.
I got to close this out. That's
you got to close it out. I wasn't able to
gosh.
beat Brandon Keys this time. His was 8 hours, but this is definitely the longest one I've ever done. This is like 3 hours. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week when we drop another OAPN. And yeah, peace.
Cheers.